Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Definition, aka your friendly neighbourhood spoiler man, and with the trailer for Morbius now out worldwide, I thought I'd do a breakdown of everything we know about the film. Throughout this video we'll be discussing its release date, cast, and how it connects to the MCU. There's lots of questions surrounding the release, as it's the first Spider-Verse film since the new Sony Disney deal, and in this video we're going to be breaking down everything you need to know about how the two entities are connected going forward. Now there may be some spoilers here, so if you don't want anything potentially ruined about the movie and some of its cameos, then I highly suggest that you turn off now. With that out of the way, I just want to give a huge thank you for clicking this video. Now let's get into our breakdown of Morbius.
Got tired of doing the whole good guy thing, huh? What's up, Doc?
Okay, so Morbius is due to be released on the 31st of July this year. Originally the film was going to be released on the 10th of the same month, however, after the Ghostbusters reboot/sequel was announced, the webheads over at the studio decided to push back the upcoming film so that it could have an opening weekend all to itself. This also puts it bang in the middle of the summer blockbuster season, and after Venom's successful theatrical run, it makes sense to drop the movie at a time when it can get the most exposure, especially due to the lack of competition. That doesn't mean that it's going to be a surefire hit though, as Tenet releases 2 weeks before Morbius, and Disney's Jungle Cruise drops on the 24th. So yeah, it does have some competition, but luckily it's coming out at a time when people tend to go to the movies a lot more, so it does have a good shot at recapturing the buzz centered around its predecessor. From the trailer, we can see that Sony are playing up the fact it's attached to the MCU, which will hopefully drum up a lot of attention for it. We'll get into this later in the breakdown, but apparently Marvel Studios aren't happy with the fact that the studio is shooting for an R rating, and they are carefully proceeding with whether to connect things on their end, or just leave it up to Sony to drop Easter eggs to the larger MCU. We don't know for definite if we'll be getting a no-holds-barred Morbius movie, but for a film that's about a living vampire that hunts humans and drinks their blood, you would think that it would naturally be more violent than the majority of comic book movies that we get. Venom was originally rumoured to be an R-rated film, however Sony apparently cut things out of the movie in order to play it safe and appeal to the mass market, and it is likely that Morbius will do the same. Personally, I think because of the financial success of Venom, Sony will be wanting to stick to the formula and keep things as toned down as possible. As for the plot, though we don't know the specifics just yet, the film is expected to stick relatively closely to Morbius' origin story, which we do pretty much see play out in the trailer. I say stick to it, like a Spider-Man stick thing, but yeah, Spider-Man's not going to be part of his origin story, so that's not very, it's close enough. Anyway, in case you don't know, Morbius is actually a Nobel Prize winning biologist named Michael who suffers from a rare blood condition. We see this in the trailer, and it leaves him disabled and close to death at all points. Trying to cure it, he gives himself an experimental treatment that involves injecting vampire bat DNA directly into his veins, and though this cures him, it also curses him with something far worse. This transforms him into a sort of vampire that is weakened by sunlight, and Morbius must feed on blood in order to survive, and he quickly becomes a predator of the night. Where Morbius differs from your typical Count Dracula is that he only feeds on the blood of bad people, and this has sort of turned him into an anti-hero. We saw a very similar aesthetic in Venom, with Eddie Brock agreeing to only eat the evildoers of the world at the end of the movie, and this plot motif will likely reappear here. As for the cast list, there's actually a couple of big names attached to the movie, and it's bringing in a lot of new names to the Marvel fold. This includes of course Jared Leto, as well as Adria Arjona, who will be playing his fiancée. Matt Smith is also playing Crown, a villain from the comic books that will go head to head with the character. Tyrese Gibson is also in it, and he's the actor that let it slip that this was connected to the MCU. Gibson is playing an FBI agent named Agent Simon Stroud, who you may know from the comics as being someone that hunted Morbius in several runs. Gibson reportedly has signed a 3-picture deal, so if Morbius gets a sequel, it is likely that this plot point will pop up. Before we get into how the movie connects to the MCU, I just want to let you know we're giving away a free copy of Joker to one lucky random subscriber. All you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave your thoughts on Morbius in the comments section below. The winner is going to be chosen at random on the 15th of January, and the set will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. Now, as for how Morbius connects to the MCU, there's actually a lot in the air in regards to the film, both on screen and behind the scenes. On Sunday it was leaked that the character would pass a Spider-Man poster at one point that had murderer written across it. This was initially thought to be fake because the poster is a screenshot from the loading screen of the PlayStation Spider-Man game. However, since the release of the trailer, we do know that this is indeed in the film. But why such a strange image, and what exactly is going on with it? Well, though it is the Raimi suit that was part of the DLC for the game, the fact that it has murderer scrawled across it is clearly hinting at the fact that this is referencing the Tom Holland wall crawler. When Sony and Disney were renegotiating the Spider-Man deal, the companies came to an agreement that their Spider-Verse would be able to drop nods to the larger elements of the MCU and also feature cameos from certain actors. This has clearly gone ahead, but that doesn't mean it's as easy as saying they're all connected, even with a notable appearance by the Vulture. According to inside sources that we cannot verify, so do take this with a pinch of salt, Sony are going to be referencing the MCU quite a lot, but this won't be going both ways. Disney are apparently only going to pay lip service to Morbius and Venom in the Spider-Man movies that they produce, and they will restrict this completely in their other solo properties. So no, it is unlikely that we will see Venom bumping into Doctor Strange anytime soon. However, at least they're allowed to reference and interact with them now, and I did enjoy seeing Michael Keaton pop up at the end of the trailer. However, I think they're missing a big opportunity here with the fact that Blade is going to be part of the Marvel Universe relatively soon. It makes a lot of sense that comic book's biggest vampire hunter is going to go up against its biggest vampire, so I am hoping that Disney start playing ball with the studio and also dropping a few nods to them as well. Earlier in the week, Dr. Movie News also dropped a tweet that said, not only will J.K. Simmons have a supporting role, but Spider-Man will have a presence in the film via wanted posters, thus taking place after Far From Home. The MCU and Spider-Verse are bridged. So, now that we can verify that the Spider-Man poster is indeed in the film, it does seem likely that the J.K. Simmons part is true as well. This is an awesome way just to tie everything together, but it kind of makes me wonder how they're going to do it. Simmons was obviously a huge part of the Raimi trilogy, and with the Raimi poster being there, it could also mean that Sony are hinting at the larger multiverse and how different versions of the characters could exist across different platforms. I could be reading way too much into that, but who knows, maybe someone just had a loading screen image lying around and they quickly just snapped it together. It does seem weird that they used a Spider-Man loading screen though, which I still find that a bit funny. I mean, like, you fire that man, he's taking your money, Sony. He's the real villain here. But anyway, now, due to the time period that we can gather from the poster, it does appear that this will take place post-snap and after the events of Endgame. This could explain how the Vulture is now out and about in the world, as he's likely served his sentence at this point because of the 5-year time jump. Venom didn't mention the snap at all because they simply weren't allowed to, so that film will now likely sit between the events of Homecoming and Infinity War. So if you're like me and just want to put your Blu-rays in the right order, that's what I'd suggest. As for the trailer itself, it does look like Sony are keeping up their darker aesthetic, and there's a lot of darkness and shadow used in it to really give us the true version of Morbius that we've been waiting for. I really do hope that they go with an R-rated vision, and it's nice that we got to see Batman and Joker on screen at the same time. I am hopeful that this can deliver, but I'm dialing back my expectations because hey, it's Sony and you just never know. Leo did kind of let me down with Suicide Squad, but I do know he can be a phenomenal actor, so I am hoping that in this role he can really deliver. I guess we'll find out soon enough, and it's time to count down the days, or nights, because he's nocturnal, for the movie's release on July 31st. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on Morbius, and if you're excited for the movie. Leave them in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up, or I'll suck your blood. I won't. Make sure you check out our full breakdown of the news that the Defenders are going to be used in Marvel properties. We talk about how they could appear and why it's taken so long, so it's definitely worth checking out if you want to know more. You can support the show by subscribing to us on Patreon, and if you want to come chat to us after the video, you can join our Discord server in the description below, or follow us on Twitter at DefinitionYT. That's the best way to keep up to date with everything we do at Heavy Spoilers, and hopefully I'll see you over there very soon. This is a channel for people who are super into superheroes, so if that's the kind of thing you like, hit subscribe. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this. I've been Definition, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.